Thank you for coming this afternoon to the annual meeting of the Economic Development Corporation of Wayne County. I'm Pete Zaleski, Chair of the Board. I'd like to start off by thanking our sponsors for today's event. We're grateful to Whitewater Valley REMC and the Indiana Municipal Power Agency for sponsoring today's lunch. And please take a moment to notice the centerpieces are a generous donation from Tyler and Gentry Go at Huddleston Farms. Someone from each table can help us out and take a native plant from Indiana home with them this evening or this afternoon after they leave. And we reused last year's wooden centerpieces that were made by students at the Lincoln Golden Eagle Industries program. And a special thanks to Reid Health for hosting us this afternoon. Today's event is a celebration of the momentum and positive movement in economic development in Wayne County. The EDC emerged as a vision of what can happen when we work together for the greater good of Wayne County, a vision of together we are stronger. The EDC is a collaboration of communities pooling resources and talents with the vision that what is good for an individual community is good for all. Each of us this afternoon holds a key role in the economic development of Wayne County. Elected officials, business owners, entrepreneurs, developers, manufacturers, utility providers, service providers, finance, healthcare, retail, housing, education, and each of us has a role to be a champion for our community to ensure a positive experience for everyone that lives, works, and visits Wayne County. The staff of the EDC works to build and cultivate relationships, assist and collaborate with all partners in the development and investment in Wayne County. I'd like to thank our staff and the board for all their efforts in assisting that development and investment. And now I'd like to recognize our past chair for 2023, Sherilyn Johnson. Sherilyn just began her second 3-year term on the board as an appointment by the Wayne County Commissioners. Last year, we were fortunate to have her lead our board of directors. Sherilyn brings a wealth of knowledge to the EDC thanks to her years of manufacturing and leadership experience. This experience has helped guide us through various challenges in the industry since COVID and has helped us understand the unique needs of our workforce. The firsthand knowledge is incredibly important to the work of the EDC, and we're always contemplating new ways that we can support both our employers and our community. I'd like to thank Sherilyn for being a champion of economic development and for serving as our chair for 2023.
So I don't have a script, but I'll just call out 2 quick things that I am really proud that we moved forward last year. You're going to hear about all kinds of investments and very traditional work that the EDC continues to do very well. But I think the 2 things that were pretty unique, Make My Move started at the end of 2022, and last year it really took off. So that program invites people from outside of our community, supports them as they make their move in. And I think we can all appreciate that we can always use talent in the region, and that's a great way for us to keep that growing. The other thing that I would call out is the Tutris program. So for those of you that may not be aware, really since I moved to Wayne County a while back, we've been looking for a solution for childcare. It's not all the way finished. I know we're still in early days, but to finally have something that is flexible enough that all kinds of employers can opt into when they need it, right? It's not realistic for everybody to build their own child care center and then their population ages out of it. So it's a great flexible solution, and I'm really, really proud of the staff's work on that this year, and I'd like to thank them for that. Thank you.
And now I'd like to introduce Valerie Schaefer, the president of the EDC.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everyone. Can you hear okay? Okay, great. All right, well, this year, determining our partners in economic development was easy. From my experience, our community has recently engaged in unprecedented collaboration that has led to substantial investments in community and economic development endeavors. This is thanks to the work of dozens of volunteers, elected officials, and community leaders. I want to take some time to reflect on where we've been and where we are headed. Let's take a step back to 2021 when the East Central Indiana region collaborated on the Ready One application. This led to a regional development plan, which was the first time we had ever accomplished that in East Central Indiana. That collaboration resulted in a $15 million award from the IEDC for our 8-county region. Wayne County was fortunate to receive a $2,950,000 allocation for the Elder Beerman redevelopment project. As you can see from the EDC's annual report on your table, that redevelopment project is currently moving forward. We have a signed project agreement with our developer, Flaherty & Collins, who is committed to bringing to fruition a 150-unit market-rate apartment complex in the heart of downtown Richmond. That project investment is nearing $40 million today. Leveraging the Ready One award, along with the state's redevelopment tax credit, leveraged outside resources that we needed to close the local gap funding required to move that project forward. Later in 2023, when the Lilly Endowment announced their College and Community Collaboration Initiative, Earlham swiftly gathered a group of community leaders, surveyed their campus, and reviewed all existing planning documents to determine the direction of their application to Lilly. Without the Elder Beerman redevelopment project, the investment match requirements likely would not have been met, which allowed Earlham to apply for the entire $25 million. As you are all aware, Earlham's efforts were a huge success. The EDC applauds Earlham for their leadership on this collaborative plan to enhance the future of downtown Richmond and our quality of place. I would now like to invite Dakota Collins to the podium to share more about the Revitalize Richmond plan.
No, keep it going. I like the intro music. Hi, everybody. I'm Dakota Collins. I'm the Director of Community Relations for Earlham College. Valerie asked me to come up today to, can everybody hear me okay? To talk a little bit about Revitalize Richmond. So I'm going to go through with you sort of our timeline, the benefits to the campus and the community, and then give you a first glance as to what's actually in Revitalize Richmond. So, like Valerie mentioned, in early 2023, February, March, the Lilly Endowment released this incredible funding opportunity to four-year colleges and universities across Indiana. The opportunity to apply for funds that were for the mutual benefit of both the college and the community around the college. Funding up to $25 million. But of course, the catch was that they would only fund 30% of the total project cost, which means that we would have to find $56 million in outside funds in order to apply for $25 million. Now, Earlham has been around in Richmond for a very long time, but we're educators. We're not community developers. We have a vision for what we would love Richmond to look like, but this community is the one that has been working so hard to see so many projects through, as Valerie has talked about. So we didn't want to be that college that came in and started dictating everything. So we very quickly decided to put together a steering committee of community partners. We brought together the City of Richmond, the EDC, the Wayne County Foundation and Forward Wayne County, and Reid Health, along with representatives from Earlham. And we asked this group the questions. Where would $25 million do the greatest good in Richmond, where we could also find $56 million in cost share and maintain that benefit for both the college and the community? So in sitting down with all these folks, they were just fantastic. I mean, I always love to say how incredible it was to make those calls, to say, hey, we're considering doing this. Will you be a part of it with us? The only question I got was, how can we help? Never, what's in it for us? Never, why is Earlham doing this now? How can we help? And so what that culminated in was 3,000 pages of different studies and strategic plans and master plans and surveys and a whole bunch of things. And so we started to take a lot of that information in and facilitate conversations with this group. And there are a number of things that we noticed, some that I wanted to highlight for you. 43% of the people who work in Richmond commute in. We've also got a 1% housing occupancy rate. Our poverty rate is 18%. When we look at our downtown area, 28% of the ground floors are vacant, and 48% are vacant on the upper stories. And actually, interesting about that stat, it's 48% is fully vacant. So we all know that that other 52% is probably partially vacant. In doing this, we started to think about, we are seeing now a lot of the ways that we can impact the Richmond community. What's the benefit for Earlham? So when we talk about why Richmond matters to Earlham so much, it really comes down to 4 primary things. One is our student attraction and retention. When students are considering whether or not they're going to come to Earlham, we ask them a number of things. Their perceptions of the college, of the academics. We also ask them their perception of Richmond and the things to do in Richmond. Traditionally, those things are ranked pretty low. And with a lot of, it's the same with a lot of other institutions in small towns. It's not an isolated incident. But what we do see is that when those prospective families come to Richmond, those rankings actually go down because there isn't the vitality specifically around downtown. We see it also with our employee attraction and retention, which I know a lot of you do as well. We want really great qualified individuals coming in, and when we're hiring professors or administrators, I take a lot of them around town and they think, where am I going to live? What am I going to do? So with a lot of other employers in town, we've seen a significant struggle with employee attraction and retention. Also, our alumni retention. We bring in hundreds of students every year from all around the world. They exist in this little bubble on campus for 4 years, and then they will go anywhere else. We want to see more and more of them choose to make Richmond their home after graduation. And then, of course, we've got a long-standing history together. For 177 years, Earlham and Richmond have succeeded and thrived together. We've existed in good times and in bad, but we want to be a really strong, good neighbor to the community. So while we're doing all of this studying and thinking about the community benefit and the college benefit, we also want to take a quick moment to talk to our students and our faculty and our staff. And so we had some listening sessions, we did some surveys, and here we had a lot of takeaways, but here are a couple quick ones. There is a really high interest from our employees specifically, but also some students, in living in downtown Richmond. There's a really high interest in using public transportation, but not a single survey respondent actually did. 18% of those respondents used the current bike paths, but only 12% said that they would never really consider using them. And then students specifically said, we would love to go downtown if 2 things existed. One, if there were items of interest, if there were things to do to bring us downtown, and if it was safe to get there. You have to remember, for a lot of us that have lived here a long time, Earlham and downtown are basically right next to each other, but in driving down US 40, it's easy to get there. But in walking or biking, as many of our students do, it's a little bit more treacherous. And then universally, respondents said that they wanted more options for dining, shopping, and entertainment. So very quickly, this steering committee and looking at all of this information coalesced around the idea, looking at the existing projects and the need of downtown Richmond revitalization. And so we started thinking, what does it take for us to get to this point where we have this great downtown? And so what we did is we put together 3 working groups that focused around these issues. One, housing, obviously, which quickly expanded into building rehabilitation. Small business development and support, and quality of place. And we had some specific goals for these working groups. To accelerate projects that already existed. We didn't need to come in and reinvent the wheel. incredible people. We're doing incredible work on these issues already. How can we make those dreams happen and happen faster? Identify with each project the appropriate cost share, maintain that college and community benefit, identify any risks for each project and the potential mitigation, and then review sustainability needs. So who did we put on these working groups? There was an Earlham rep on every one of them, but they were primarily made up of community members, many of whom are in this room right now. So in the housing working group, we had a representative from the EDC, Richmond Neighborhood Restoration, the Wayne County Commissioners, the City of Richmond, a local realtor, and a representative from a local construction company. In the business working group, we brought together the IU East and Earlham business programs, Main Street Richmond and the City of Richmond, and local entrepreneurs that are working on the ground every day in downtown. And then in quality of place, we brought together the Cardinal Greenways, Main Street Richmond, the Redevelopment Commission, the City of Richmond, Richmond Parks and Recreation, the RSO, the UEA, and of course the Tourism Bureau. And so these three groups met every single week for multiple hours every week for 5 to 6 weeks because we were on a really short time frame. Remember, this project got presented, it got opened up in March. Our first deadline was September 1st. So we put all these people together. They're working in, day out, doing some meetings in between, lots of homework. And then in about mid-August, we start a deeper conversation with the Earlham administration. There's some back and forth, and by the end of August, we really land on what these projects are going to be. And then it's a month of writing up until September 1st, a 60-page proposal to the Lilly Endowment. And once that's submitted, it's wait, and it's wait, and it's wait until December, which we were finally awarded. But in writing all of that, we realized that our three-pillar narrative that we had wasn't quite fitting together the way that we had anticipated. So we quickly shuffled and sort of restructured some of these projects within to focus around three different pillars: activate, build, and connect. In activate, we're talking about that vitality and life downtown. We want people to feel the excitement and the buzz. In build, we're looking at creating new structures and renovating some historic structures to bring together the more physical infrastructure. And then on the connect side, we're really focusing in on uniting the Richmond and the Earlham communities. So let's go through each of these, and I'd be happy to tell you which projects are in each area. In activate, we're specifically looking at expanding shopping, recreation, and creative making options in downtown to increase the number of opportunities for fulfilling free time activities for residents and students. There are a lot of pieces of this, but the first one is a partnership with Main Street Richmond. First and foremost, through Revitalize Richmond, Main Street Richmond will be hiring a full-time business coach to offer free to low-cost coaching for current entrepreneurs and budding entrepreneurs. And so this person won't be sitting in the office every day waiting for somebody to come through. They're going to be out in the community, in stores, in storefronts, talking to entrepreneurs, seeing what they need to be successful and helping unite them to those resources. You can imagine this position as sort of a center hub of a wheel of services. If somebody needs marketing assistance, let's connect them to a marketing consultant. If they need accounting help in their business, let's connect them to an accountant. If they're a budding entrepreneur, if they've got this great booth at the farmer's market, but now it's time for them to expand into a storefront, this is the person helping them either work through their business plan or find funding or any number of things that they can do. However, all of you entrepreneurs in the room know that entrepreneurship is somewhat of a risk, and we want to have something that's a little bit more certain as well. So in addition to hiring that person, Main Street Richmond will also be contracting with a firm. That firm will look really regionally for independently owned businesses that are doing really well in their current markets and might be primed to expand into a new location in a new market. So these people can take their businesses, take their business model, and apply it directly to downtown Richmond. Another piece of this Activate pillar is the activation of the Whitewater Gorge. This has been one of those really long-term ongoing projects thanks to the Richmond Parks and Recreation Department. They have this really incredible plan to make the Whitewater Gorge a destination, a hub of activity. Revitalize Richmond will be funding a portion of that to help it, again, accelerate and happen faster. Part of the pieces of that include accessibility improvements, some conservation, including removing some of that invasive vegetation and revealing the river. I mean, how many of you have been down to the Star Jeanette Plaza and taken a visitor down there and had to say, oh no, trust me, there's a river right on the other side of those trees. And then adding in that entertainment value for residents and visitors alike, adding in a river walk, kayaking and canoeing rentals, and a zip line. Next, we're partnering with Eric and Becky Dimmick Eastman, who are in the process of creating this brand new makerspace. They are Earlham alums, and we're so excited to be working with them on this new project. But you can imagine this as this facility to support creativity in all of its forms. Whether it's from knitting a hat to starting a business, anything that involves creating something could be supported through this venture. And we also see it as this really great opportunity for educational institutions to partner and collaborate in the center. How do we bring the Ivy Tech programs together with the Earlham programs, with the IU East programs, centered in this space downtown? And then finally in Activate, we have a few other pieces in beautification. How do we make the downtown increase that vibrancy and that atmosphere downtown through green spaces, signage, public art, and then through some programming? How do we really continue to unite those Richmond and Earlham communities? Whether it's in surface level ways like getting students to the Meltdown Festival, or in much deeper ways in uniting our outdoor education program with the Whitewater Gorge project. And then we move on to build. We're looking specifically at historic buildings downtown and then potential new builds. Valerie mentioned earlier private development in the former Elder Beerman project. You all have heard about that. And Valerie is 100% right. Without that project, we would not have been able to leverage these other funds because the former Elder Beerman project is a significant portion of our cost share. So that's one really big piece, but we're also looking to partner with other private developers to focus in on some historic renovation of really significant downtown buildings. But we don't want to piecemeal this throughout and just focus on really big buildings. So we're also partnering with Richmond Neighborhood Restoration. You all have heard about the former Secret Ingredient building and the incredible things that they've done with that space in adding 4 brand new apartments to the 2nd and 3rd floor. We want them to take that model and apply it again 3 to 5 times over the course of the grant to continue to increase the living spaces downtown, but also to white box those first floors, bring them up to code, fix everything, so that those entrepreneurs that we're growing and attracting have a perfect space to move right in. They don't have to focus on bringing the building up to code or fixing the floor, installing lights. They get to focus on their business. And then all of those buildings will go into the city's PLACE program. Many of you have probably heard about this as well, but entrepreneurs have the ability to apply for the use of a building through the revolving loan fund, use a ballooning repayment process so they're paying very little on the front, and then apply for traditional financing after 5 years to buy the building outright. That means we've got a great renovated building. After 5 years, it goes back on the tax rolls, and it's in the hands of an already successful entrepreneur. And then finally, in Connect, through rebranding and expansion of public transit, plus the introduction of multimodal pedestrian and cycling paths from campus to downtown, we're going to help our students and residents safely travel to the area to facilitate downtown living and leisure. So that first piece is all about public transportation. Like I said, a lot of people are interested in using public transit, but they're not interested in using Roseview. And it comes down a lot to a branding problem. So we're going to be partnering with the city to do a complete rebrand of Roseview Transit. It could include a number of things. It could include some new routes. It will probably include the addition of a mobile app and maybe buses that don't look like they came out of 1995. Additionally, we'll be using a federal transportation grant to purchase an electric bus that will travel throughout downtown and the Depot District on a loop and then also come to Earlham. This will allow students and residents to hop on the bus, go to the Cordial Cork for dinner and RCT for a show, having to park once with the ease of transportation. It'll also help our students get back and forth to downtown very safely. And then, of course, the multimodal paths. Our students love to walk, they love to bike. So from downtown Richmond, where the current bike lane picks up at the entrance to Stargenet Plaza, we'll be doing a multimodal path for walking and biking together all the way down Main Street to Clear Creek Park. There will also be a connector down Southwest 8th Street to the front of campus. That will be great for all of the West Side residents and be great for Earlham students because they no longer have to take that treacherous trip down 40. They get to cross 40 at the light and then go to a much safer, much more accessible route. And then, of course, there's the administration of this. We have put together a key partners committee. We're hiring 3 staff people through Earlham to help facilitate this, and we're working with our friends at Irongate to do some specific marketing and communication so that everybody knows about Revitalize Richmond. There is a cost breakout here, but the number that I really want to share exists up at the top. We had to find $56 million in cost share, but because of this incredible community and all of the work that has gone into this before Earlham ever stepped in, we found over $83 million in cost share. That's a total of $108 million being invested in downtown Richmond over the next 5 years. We do want to determine our success, so we have 2 specific ways, our measures of perception and measures of community vitality. When we're looking at the vitality piece, what we'd like to see is a doubling of the investment in downtown outside of Revitalize Richmond related projects over that 5 years. We want to see 85% of the storefronts occupied and 78% of the upper stories occupied. Increase the number of downtown businesses and the number of jobs existing in downtown. And then when it comes to perception, what all of these numbers say is we want the community and our students to feel like there are fun, exciting, and vibrant things to do in the downtown area and that it's safe to get to and be in. Our next steps include hire that community relations team, firm up our subrecipient award agreements with all of our partners that I mentioned, and then get their updated implementation plans. We are very close to accomplishing all of those things, and we're excited to move forward. And if there's time, I'd be happy to take any questions. Any questions? Sorry, I wanted to leave time for your questions, so I ran through it a bit, so don't let me out of here without at least one. All right, never mind. Oh, there's one in the back.
So, I love the idea of downtown being revitalized. I'm just curious, is that part of the road that's now closed, all the roadway, is that part of that too, or is that separate from that?
So it's one of those projects that's on the fringe. Sorry, the question was about the current road construction happening downtown. Is it under the umbrella of Revitalize Richmond? That is not a project that is being funded by Revitalize Richmond. However, because it fits into the project of overall downtown development, it does count in that $83 million cost share. Does that answer your question? Yeah. Great, thank you.
I have a question.
Yeah.
With the economic development and trying to make more jobs for places around here with the rural community, your students, they've had a good education, things like that. Are you guys doing things to try and make them stay within our communities with that development?
Yeah, the question is about how we're helping our students stay in Richmond and Wayne County after they graduate. I'll say that's a strategy that we're still working on a little bit. Our first step in our minds is to create a community that feels vibrant, because our students can frequently work remotely, they have a high level of employability. If they wanted a job in Wayne County, they could frequently get one, but they don't often want to stay. So we want to see a community in which they want to stay and build their lives. They have an appropriate place to live. We are working with a lot of the corporations that Valerie and the EDC are working with to establish some internships and other learning opportunities so those students have firsthand experience working in Richmond and Wayne County. Great, thank you all. Sorry, I messed this up.
All right, well, thank you so much, Dakota, for that very knowledgeable presentation. I would now like to invite President Ann Hauptman and the rest of the Earlham team up to officially accept our Economic Development Partner Award. Okay, last year was a busy year for planning and cultivating impactful projects to move Wayne County forward. In addition to the Revitalize Richmond plan, elected officials and community leaders were busy creating Wayne County's strategic investment plan. This was for the Office of Community and Rural Affairs Hoosier Enduring Legacy Program, otherwise known as HELP. Collaboration was led by Wayne County government with participation from the communities of Cambridge City, Dublin, East Germantown, Economy, Milton, Richmond, and Spring Grove. This resulted in the creation of a strategic investment plan for each community, but also a plan for the entire county. The 7 participating communities each contributed a minimum of 30% of their American Rescue Plan Act dollars, and this was to go towards projects in their communities. Thanks to the generous support of the Wayne County government, they also contributed $5.89 million of their ARPA money to assist the towns in the city of Richmond in undertaking what would eventually become a countywide investment of $25.4 million. By working together and with the support of the private sector, officials were able to leverage ARPA funding to accomplish far more together than what they would have been able to do on their own. The EDC was happy to play a role in the planning process and by creating and partially funding the new Wayne County Blight Program. With matching dollars and support from the Wayne County government, we have $780,000 to invest in blight elimination throughout the county. The intention of this program is to work directly with the communities to expand the work of their unsafe building commissions and demolish blighted and abandoned residential structures that are far beyond repair. The overarching goal of this is to stabilize property values and our neighborhoods. Here to talk more about the HELP planning process and its importance is Jeff Plaster, President of the Wayne County Commissioners. His leadership, in conjunction with Beth Fields, the Wayne County HELP Coordinator, helped to make this project possible.
Well, thank you, everybody. Pleasure to be here today. I will tell you that Valerie knows me very well, so I don't have a slide demonstration, and she cautioned me to be very brief. Not that that really will do any good, but she did try. I do want to just point out a few things about the similarities between what you've just heard about Revitalize Richmond and Earlham and Lily's partnership with what has happened through the HELP program. The HELP program, as Valerie said, put on by Okra, it initially was specifically directed to allow us some help in determining the best options for investing the American Rescue Plan dollars. And we had a significant number of those dollars. A total of about $20 million came to Wayne County in each of the communities. So we went to the communities, we asked them if they were interested in participating. Again, as Valerie said, they had to commit 30% of their American Rescue Plan dollars towards investment in projects identified by this planning process. So she's already told you which communities participated, but let me also point out that Wayne County government and these other governmental entities did not do it alone. We had help from universities that were supported by Okra. So Purdue University, Indiana University, Ball State, and Ivy Tech all supported our planning process, along with the Chamber of Commerce, the EDC, the Tourism Bureau, and the Wayne County Foundation. So it was a tremendous partnership. We worked collaboratively together. This process actually started in the summer of 2021. We were selected at the end of that 2021. We sat out a year while other communities across the state were participating with Okra. And in 2023, we went through the planning process. 2024 is the implementation phase. So I want to just point out a few of the programs, a few of the projects that we're able to support through this process. The one kind of nearest and dearest to my heart in working with 5 of the small communities is an opportunity to rebuild playgrounds and parks in each of those 5 communities. So we worked through a program through the Indiana Housing and Community Development Authority called Creating Places. We worked with those small towns, Economy, East Germantown, Cambridge City, Dublin, and Milton. They are all right now either just completed their fundraising projects. East Germantown and Economy successfully raised more than $50,000 to match a $50,000 grant from the state. So those communities and the other 3 are working very well towards their fundraising goals. So each of those 5 small communities will have a new project in their town for their kids, a playground in excess of $100,000. So I'd love to have a round of applause for those communities. In addition, we are working with the City of Richmond on a project to revitalize downtowns. The city committed $1 million. The county committed $1 million that will go to the eligible communities and businesses within those main streets, the downtown corridor, that were identified by the participating communities. Where is their downtown? It's not always called Main Street, but there is a heart of each of the towns. And we just 2 weeks ago sent out notices to the eligible businesses in those areas, and they are receiving application materials. Applications are due by the 1st of July of this year, and they can receive a grant of up to $100,000, a 75% grant from us, 25% commitment from those businesses to revitalize their business and in turn revitalize the downtowns. Valerie's already mentioned the blight removal program. That's going to be a very important element of this project. But let me just touch finally on what I think is the greatest opportunity from this process is working together with local governments, planning together, talking together, and working through any issues of trust that may have been prevalent from the past. You know, it hasn't been that long ago that Hagerstown and Williamsburg and Fountain City and all of these small towns had their own high school, and they all played together in the sectional. and there's still some rivalries. Believe it or not, there's still some rivalries. And in some cases, that has prevented, I think, collaborative efforts. But with projects like HELP, I think we're breaking down some of those barriers. The Wayne County Foundation just applied for a Stellar Pathways project that includes 4 of the towns that were not able, for one reason or another, to participate in the HELP program. And so we're building those bridges. We're making significant investment into our city and our towns, and we're moving forward. And I think you will all agree that that's something that's way overdue in Wayne County. We need to work together. So thank you very much, and it's been a lot of fun. I would like to, are you going to ask all the towns to come up? Well, I'll let you do that then, but I look forward to seeing all the town representatives up here.
One thing Jeff did not mention is that on your tables, you have very large spreadsheets. Those spreadsheets are two-sided. That is a list of all of the HELP projects that are going to either are currently underway or will get underway yet this year. So a lot of different investment projects for individual communities, as well as some partnership projects between the city of Richmond and Wayne County where they pooled their resources. So now I would like to recognize everyone who is representing a community here today in your work on the HELP program. We have, of course, Jeff Plaster and Beth Fields. I would like for you to come forward, our county HELP coordinator representing Wayne County. And then we have Dan Wicker representing Dublin. Dan, are you here? Okay, Dan didn't make it. Steve Mills representing East Germantown. Steve, where did you go? Come on. Come on. Shirley Williams representing Economy. Shirley, I know you're here. There she is. Amy Smith representing Milton. Then we have the other Beth Fields representing the city of Richmond. Zane Carell representing Spring Grove. And Jim McLean representing Cambridge City. Take a large group photo. As you can tell, working together in collaboration is definitely the theme of today. So far we've recognized the hard work and achievements of the Revitalize Richmond Plan and the Strategic Investment Plan, but would you believe that there was actually a third planning process in 2023? There was, and it was a little thing called Ready To that I'm sure you have all heard of. Last year, the EDC recognized the East Central Indiana Regional Partnership as our Economic Development Partner of the Year. So I'm sorry, guys, we cannot give you that award again today. But fast forward to today, and our region has received another Ready allocation, but this time in the amount of $35 million. Through the leadership efforts of Trevor Friedeberg and Caitlin Hancock at the partnership, in conjunction with our planning consultants at HWC, the East Central Indiana region received the largest increase of a Ready award when comparing Ready 1 to Ready 2. I'm so grateful for the partnership among my colleagues across our 8-county region to develop such a dynamic plan to garner the exposure from the IEDC that resulted in this $35 million award. I'd also like to thank Acacia St. John of Ford Wayne County for working alongside me on the steering committee and representing Wayne County in the process. Ford Wayne County and the Wayne County Foundation have become a strong partner in community leadership and are also spearheading 2 new initiatives that build upon the momentum that we have experienced. They recently led efforts, just 2 short weeks ago, to write a concept paper for Lily Gift 8, where they are hoping to be invited to submit a full application for a grant proposal for up to $5 million from the Lilly Endowment. In addition, the Wayne County Foundation through Forward Wayne County also led the application process that Jeff mentioned for Okra's Stellar Pathways program, where 7 communities across Wayne County are committed to working together to create a shared vision for community and economic development to compete for up to $8 million from 7 different state agencies. The next steps regarding both of those initiatives will be announced later this summer. So if you've been keeping track, so far $100 million of federal, state, and philanthropic grants have been awarded to our region, with $53 million of that being invested right here in Wayne County. This is also while leveraging additional private sector investment. None of this would be possible without the dedication of individuals and organizations who are committed to economic growth and prosperity and who understand the importance of working together and beyond jurisdictional boundaries. If you've participated in any of these planning processes the last 2 years, would you please stand up? Don't be shy, come on. I want everyone to see how many people actually engaged in these planning processes. All right, thank you all so much for your contributions. It takes a lot of engagement for these funding programs and for the work and dedication to actually move forward, from community engagement to surveys to the application writing to the interviews with these state agencies and philanthropic entities that are evaluating us amongst numerous other communities and regions that are competing for these dollars. It's incredibly important that we have a shared vision, and I really believe that we have really come together over recent years to demonstrate that. So now I'd like to move into business development, because at the heart of the EDC's mission is business development and the facilitation of attracting new investment to the community. This includes both assisting our existing industry to the community and also recruiting new businesses to locate and bring new operations here. 2023 proved to be an exceptional year for business investment, with 5 companies that are committed to investing over $420 million, creating 184 new jobs, and retaining 321 existing jobs. To prepare for this multi-million-dollar project investment, it's critically important that Wayne County have adequate industrial park land available that is shovel-ready, meaning we have site control, we've conducted all of our site due diligence, and we've worked with our utility partners to ensure we have adequate utility capacities. Last year, the EDC's Industrial Park Committee, led by staff member Sarah Mitchell, poured countless hours into preparing land for development and the new Phase 3 of our Midwest Industrial Park that consists of 335 acres. Similar work completed in previous years for Phase 1 and 2 of the park prepared us for large-scale investment projects currently underway today by Blue Buffalo, Anchor Ingredients, and Liberation Labs, which you will hear more about in just a moment. Support for business development differs from project to project, but my team at the EDC remains consistent in providing top-notch customer service to ensure each company's needs are met and to demonstrate how they can be successful here. Teresa Lindsay and Sarah Mitchell played critical roles in supporting these efforts, so they are going to join me in sharing more about our 2023 business development activity.
Good afternoon. The growth of Supply Source in Richmond is a result of a merger in 2020 between Impact Products and Safety Zone to become Supply Source when they were acquired by HIG Capital. With this merger, an opportunity arose to combine operations and improve the footprint of their distribution centers, optimizing their network to bring inventory closer to customers and give them increased access to products. This led to an expanded footprint of their operation in Richmond with the addition of new warehousing and distribution center locations. As a result, Supply Source is in the process of investing $726,000 in their facility and new equipment and plan to create 49 jobs at an average hourly rate of $16.25 plus benefits. Here to accept our investment award is Linda Kirk with Supply Source. So next up, we have Menasha. In 2022, Menasha Packaging, which is a division of Menasha Corporation, acquired Colorbox. Menasha Corporation was founded in 1849 and is one of the oldest family-owned manufacturing businesses in the country. They specialize in corrugated packaging, display merchandising, and signage, as well as offering integrated printing and converting and fulfillment facilities, helping customers protect, move, and promote their products. To operate more efficiently and increase their profitability, Menasha plans to consolidate their 2 Richmond locations into their existing facility at Industries Road. They will continue to use the G Street location for warehousing. The project includes the purchase and installation of new equipment and employee training on new machinery. As a result of this $66 million investment, Menasha has obtained property tax abatements from the City of Richmond for investing in their plant and retaining 321 jobs in our community. Here to accept this award is Jamil Bacon. So the EDC first announced that Blue Buffalo would be building a pet food processing plant on 90 acres in Midwest Industrial Park back in 2016. 5 short years after the plant opened in 2018, Blue Buffalo has committed to a second large-scale investment project that brought attention from Indiana Governor Eric Holcomb when he returned to Wayne County to help Blue break ground on this expansion in Richmond. The pet food company, owned by General Mills, is adding a 169,000 square foot addition to its processing operations and warehouse capacity. This addition increases the building's footprint by more than 40% by adding another extruder line, 3 new packaging lines, and an associated mix and transfer system. This will increase their production of the high-quality dog and cat food. This expansion is $200 million investment and will create an additional 50 to 60 new jobs at an average hourly wage of $24 plus benefits. The EDC has assisted the company with an application for an economic development rider from RP&L and IMPA and is working with the City of Richmond on the issuance of a tax increment financing bond to support this investment project. I would like to invite Chris Campbell and the other Blue Buffs to join me in accepting our investment award for this year.
Thank you, Teresa. My name is Sarah Mitchell. I'm the Economic Development Manager for the EDC. And Wayne County is delighted to welcome Anchor Ingredients to the community, and more specifically to Phase 2 of Midwest Industrial Park. The new facility will position Anchor Ingredients in the heart of a growing pet food manufacturing cluster in East Central Indiana and West Central Ohio. The company broke ground on their new state-of-the-art facility on 36 acres of land purchased from Blue Buffalo, which will expand through a partnership with Norfolk Southern. Dane's here today. Thank you, Dane, for all your help on this. Of infrastructure within the park and provide bulk storage, warehouse space, and on-site ingredient processing, as well as the latest in quality assurance testing to meet the demands of their customers. The EDC supported the company by facilitating the negotiation of a $900,000 grant from the Richmond Redevelopment Commission to be applied towards the construction of an on-site rail spur. And Anchor has applied for an economic development rider from RP&L and IMPA. This project will result in a minimum investment of $39 million in the creation of 30 new jobs at an average hourly wage of $25 plus benefits. We welcome Anchor Ingredients to Wayne County, and we are excited to see what the future holds for the growing pet food sector in our region. Here to accept the investment award from Anchor is Seth Novak. And now we are going to show a video we took just about 2 weeks ago coming from Interstate 70. If you've not seen all the new investment occurring from the interstate, you should. It's quite exciting to see. But this is a recent drone video that captures the Blue Buffalo and Anchor Ingredients construction projects next to one another. So if Seth could come up while the video's playing. And here you can see Anchor more directly with the silos that they have building here. Vandor in the background, as well as some of the cranes at Liberation Labs. It's quite exciting to see. Next, we have another new company investing in Wayne County, and that is Liberation Labs. Their new facility is currently under construction in Phase 1 of the Midwest Industrial Park and will be the first purpose-built commercial precision fermentation plant. Sorry, that's hard for me to say, so I'm going to say it again. Will be the first purpose-built commercial precision fermentation plant in the United States. Precision fermentation programs microorganisms to produce functional ingredients for plant-based food and other materials. And co-founder Mark Warner, who's here today, has said that the 3 things a biomanufacturing facility like ours needs are sugar, power, and people. And Richmond has all 3. The uniqueness of this project has attracted a lot of attention across the state and the country, where Richmond and this project has been featured in numerous publications. We are also proud of the strong partnership announced with Richmond's Ivy Tech Community College to create and implement a customized training program for new employees. So when the facility begins production in the last quarter of 2024, we are ready to hit the ground running. The EDC played a role in facilitating this project through the sale of 36 acres in the Midwest Industrial Park, a $250,000 EDIT grant, a tax abatement from the City of Richmond, and connecting the company with an opportunity to obtain an economic development rider from RP&L and IMPA. As a result of the project, the company will invest $115 million and create 45 new jobs at an average hourly wage of $35 an hour plus benefits. We are thrilled to be able to welcome this new biotechnology company to Wayne County. And here to accept this award for the investment is Liberation Labs, but we also have a video to show as well. It's Mark Warner, co-founder. And in this drone video, the Liberation Lab site is under construction, and we'd just love to show and showcase this as he comes up. So please join me, Mark. Do you see the size of those cranes? Isn't that exciting to see the new growth in our industrial park? Next up is solar farm development presentation. We get a lot of questions from the community about solar farms in Wayne County. And people are curious why we have so many and how it benefits us. To answer these questions and more, let's welcome Chris Sanders, the Vice President of Generation at Indiana Municipal Power Agency.
Thank you. Thanks. Hi, yeah, my name's Chris Sanders. I'm with IMPA. And with my role, I'm responsible for all the generation assets that we have, renewables, gas, coal, and the like. So I'll start off with a sort of a high-level overview of IMPA, who we are, and what we do. So IMPA is a political subdivision of the state. We're based out of Carmel, Indiana. We began operations in 1983. So we provide power to 61 municipal members, 60 in Indiana, 1 in Ohio, and we're an all requirements provider. So our sort of peak load, as we look out across the year, is about 1,200 megawatts. And Richmond is our second largest member. And they're also one of our founding members. Our total ownership is about 520 megawatts of coal, 419 megawatts of natural gas combustion turbines. We have 7 combustion turbines that we own. 2 of those are here in Wayne County. We have 149 megawatts of, I'm sorry, that looks like that didn't get updated. We have almost 196 megawatts now of solar power generation across 50 solar parks. We have 1 in Centerville, and then there are 7 that are online here in Richmond now, with 1 more under construction over on US 40. So kind of a timeline of the solar parks here in Richmond. The initial build out happened in 2014 with 3 sites, 1 in Rensselaer, 1 in Richmond, and then 1 in Frankton. So the first one, Richmond 1, as we refer to it, is actually over by the RP&L offices back behind Whitewater Valley, which we also operate. That came online in 2014. And then we've been steadily building out over time since then. So Richmond 2 is the one that is over on the east side of 70, right as you come across the state line. Richmond 3 is on the west side. They're just past the billboard there. 4 is over by Industries Drive. 5 and 6 are together. They're over by the Wernley Boys Home. They're on the sort of southeast part of town. 7 is over on it's over near Test, over by the elementary school. And then Richmond 8 that we refer to is over on 40 next to the U-Haul facility. So I want to touch a little bit on sort of why we have the solar parks that we do and sort of the process that goes into them. We do design, build, and operate all these in-house to IMPA. So it's a part of helping to keep our portfolio current and to be able to provide renewable resources in addition to the this dispatchable resources that are required, like when the sun doesn't shine for all of our solar parks. So with that, happy to take any questions. I know some folks kind of wanted to talk a little bit about that, but that's sort of IMPA in a nutshell. Yes.
What is the longevity of these panels and what happens when they can no longer be in use?
Sure. So the modules that we buy come with a 25-year warranty. So we sort of assume a 25-year life of that initial build, and then we would make an economic decision at that point if it made sense to replace them. But there are a lot of places that will actually recycle them. So any that are damaged during construction or shipping, we actually recycle those. And so there's a lot of work that's going on in that space in general, battery recycling, solar module recycling. So I expect that to continue to improve as far as the things they're able to get back out of the modules. They're mostly glass and aluminum, so there's highly recyclable materials. Yeah.
Can you discuss a little bit about how the power that is generated from the solar energy is utilized in the community?
Yeah, that's a great question. So whenever we look to design a site, or we look at the circuit that it's on, so like here in Richmond, we're interconnected with Richmond Power and Light, and so we look at we're able to look at the meter data and determine how big of a solar park we can build without pushing back out into transmission. So to that point, all of the energy that we produce at our solar parks is consumed in that member's distribution system. So Centerville, Richmond, those are all sized for the circuits that they're on to not push back out into transmission, out into the larger grid.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Does that mean that it doesn't give funding back to the electronic or electric company, like how if you generate more power and then you can put it back into the grid, it kind of reverses, say you get more money or get paid for producing power?
Yeah, so we refer to these as behind the meter. So like the substation where the member would be interconnected with transmission, we're built onto the distribution side of that. And like I said, we size it such that we don't push back out through the substation into transmission. Great. All right, thank you.
Thank you.
Again, I want to thank everyone for being here this afternoon. I want to thank our sponsors one more time, Whitewater Valley REMC and the Indiana Municipal Power Agency for providing our lunch, and Reid Hospital and Healthcare Services for hosting us this afternoon. There is the planner from Huddleston Farms. Please, someone at the table, help us and take those home. You can continue to follow the activities of the EDC after our meeting today at whyWayneCounty.com. And I'm going to ask the EDC board members to stay after for a special board meeting. Public's more than welcome to stay. It is a public meeting. But at this point, I adjourn our annual meeting and thank you for coming.